This is the famous Taj Mahal in Agra, India. One of the many photographs that I obtained, but I would have liked to obtain this photograph by moonlight, but unfortunately time was against me and I never got it. But here's a way that you can get it within Photoshop. So what we need to do here is to alter the photograph to make it look as if it was taken by moonlight. So the first thing that we have to do is to come down to this little icon here and click on it, and you will be presented with a menu. What we want is solid color, and we'll go down to the blues and we'll pick a nice midnight blue, perhaps a little bit darker, and OK. And you'll see what it's done. It's put a color fill layer with a mask already attached to it over it, and if we turn off the eye, you'll see that the picture is still underneath. Right, what we want to do now is to make sure that we are on the first little icon, the blue one, which is the actual picture, and lower the opacity so you can see the Taj Mahal behind it. And I would suggest going down to about 81%, something like that, so that it looks as if it is by moonlight, maybe a little darker on your screens. Then we'll go to the mask by the side, this little white square, and if we click onto it, you'll find that a square becomes around it, noting that you are now working within this mask. Masks work within black and white. So now we'll pick up a paintbrush and we'll lower the opacity right the way down, very low, to about 5 or 6%, and we'll pick a nice soft brush there we are, that should do us, and we'll go up to the top of these spires and left click, then come down to the bottom, hold your shift key and left click, and you'll see that the light is then transformed from top to bottom. Do this with all the others where light is reflected from the right side. A little bit on the top here and a little bit larger brush, and because we've got a very soft brush, remember that the softness indicates that the light will come from the center of the brush. Down to the bottom, hold your shift key and left click. Left click on the top, come down to the bottom, hold your shift key and left click. And there's a few other places now where we want a little bit larger brush, and we'll click on the top, come down to the bottom, hold your shift key and left click, and the same for this side, and down to the bottom, hold your shift key and left click. The next thing that we have to do is to get our moon in position, and here's one that I took some years ago. Make sure that it's on a transparent layer, pick up your move tool, click onto it and move it into your picture. Once it's there, we can get rid of this picture. It's only taking up memory, which we can do with the rest of our preparation. If you hold down your control key and tap the letter T, this will bring up the free transform tool. Hold your shift key and drag the moon down to a more reasonable size to correspond with the picture that we're in. It is a good idea to make it look a little bit larger than life, and we'll pop it up in the top right hand corner and press the enter key, which will confirm that that's the size we want and that's the position we want it in. Right, now we'll go up to here and pick up our elliptical marquee tool and drag out a circle. Keep your left mouse held down and hold your space bar and drag that over to go around the moon, and let go of your left mouse, let go of the space bar, and you'll find that it's not always easy to get the circle exactly round the moon evenly. So now you can use your up and down, left and right arrow keys to nudge it into position so that when you're happy, that's the position we want it. Now we'll go up to select and we'll come down to modify and then come down to feather, and you want to feather this selection by about a radius of 40 pixels and click OK. Now we'll go up to edit and we'll come down to fill, and we want to fill that small selection with white, but we want the opacity about 25% and click OK. And now if we hold down our control key and tap the letter D, you see you have a very realistic little halo around the moon which reflects the light onto the Taj Mahal in the correct areas. Okay, to make this picture look a little bit more real, we'll add some stars into the sky. So once again we'll pick up our paintbrush and make sure that we are painting with white paint, and we are on the background copy layer, which is right at the top. You want to bring your paintbrush down to a very small size by pressing the left square bracket key until it's down to about 6. Make sure that you are now up to 100% by pressing 100 on the keyboard, and this will bring the opacity back to 100. And let's go around and put a few little stars in the sky, not too many of them. Now we'll change the size by pressing our right square bracket, bring it up to about 9 so that we got some larger stars. And we'll come up a little bit higher to about 20, and we'll put one star which is really bright. In the next part of this tutorial we will be in Proshow Producer, which will show you how to use this picture in a slideshow. Here we are in Proshow Producer. Let me show you what I've done here. First of all, I've started off with a blank black slide. Then I've gone to a couple of pictures which I had already. One is the entrance to the Taj Mahal, and then I have zoomed in very close and saved that zooming, and here we are now. I've brought in the picture that we have prepared in Photoshop earlier, and then I've put the Taj Mahal as it was originally onto this slide. This is the important part of your slideshow, and that is this transition between the two slides, and it is this one here, and it is a wipe from upper right to lower left so that it comes from the moon area down, and give that a timing of about 10 seconds. And then this is the final part of this tutorial, and I'll go over it just once again, that these two slides here are ones that I had already, going through the archway of the Taj Mahal, zooming in very close and saving the final zoom slide. And here's the picture that we prepared in Photoshop, the very important transition, which is for 10 seconds, leading us into the last slide, which lasts for 2 seconds, of the original picture of the Taj Mahal. I do hope you've enjoyed this short tutorial, and I look forward to speaking to you in future tutorials. Thank you. Now, in this final scene, if you have done your work correctly, this is what it should look like in Proshow Producer. I do hope you've enjoyed this short tutorial, and I look forward to speaking to you in future tutorials. Thank you.